Right, we're back for the second sitting of this suspension upgrade. So we did all the stuff that we've done yesterday, which now has left the shock available for us to get at. So we need a open-ended spanner 17 and a 14 socket as well to get this out. So I think it is as simple as just the top and the bottom bolts, and then that should come straight out. So give it a go. So the manual calls for the bottom one to come out first. So let's give it a go. I've got a feeling back wheel might drop down, so yeah. Right, so this is the bottom of the shock loose. Let's move on to the top. There we go. Okay, so this should see the shock come loose. There we go. So the original shock is now out, and this is the Hagon next to it. There is a massive weight difference. The original is significantly heavier. So to note, when the Hagon goes in, it needs to go in with the sticker facing up the right way so you can read the writing, and this threaded part needs to stay at the top. So I guess we just get it in now, see how the rebuilding process goes. Okay, so let's drop it down. Oh, there we go. So that looks like it's lined up. Hopefully that will go through. Yup. And rightly or wrongly, I did just add a little bit of grease in there. And then let's get this tightened up. This needs to be torqued up between 25 and 35, so I've just put on 32. See how we get on from there, I think, and then I need to change it when I can do. So here's the tricky bit then. We've got to lift the back wheel up, get this hole in line with the bottom hole of the shock. So I've just slid a bit of wood underneath the wheel to help me lever it up. Hopefully that will allow me to line that hole up, which it almost is. Slide the bolt through. It's out ever so slightly. There we go. Oh, there we go. Sure my leg doesn't get trapped, so that would probably be a job that would be slightly easier with 2 people, but it's doable. So let's get this one torqued up as well. Right, so this should be the same as the top one in terms of torque, so should be set up and ready to go. I always forget that up with the spanner, I always get stuck on there. So, right, that is the shock in. Let's have a quick look. So, bottom bolts come up, shock looks like that from the bottom angle, top. Obviously, we've still got access to the adjustment ring there, and then the top bolt is in as well. So, now it's just the dreaded rebuild of the airbox, I think. So, let's see how we get on with that. Just a quick note. I try and do this with the bolts. I didn't do this yesterday, and it bothered me because I didn't know what came from what. But grab a bit of cardboard, poke a hole through it, and stick the bolts through, and then you know exactly where they come from. It's pretty good idea, just so you don't lose things or misplace them or look at a lot and go, where did that come from? So that's what I've done, just to make things a bit simpler with putting stuff back in. So we've got on this side, we've got this little drainage tube or vent tube that does need to go back on. It's probably a good idea to get that on before you go too far, otherwise you don't. It's a bit of a tricky one. Need a little bit of space to get this on. Right, that is in. So let's wiggle this back up to where it should be. Feels like that little gasket is not quite gone over the air intake. It looks like it's getting stuck. That feels like it's on from the inside. Yeah, good. Right, that's on where it needs to be. So now it's the 2 bolts to secure the airbox to the bike. Done. So now starts the fun of trying to get all of this back in as it was connected to various bits. So bit attached to these 2 bits, which was definitely that way up. That was attached to mudguard. I think it's just a case of tidying these bits up now. Lifting them up slightly. Guard that sits in the mudguard. Yeah. Try and get this back in, which wasn't the easiest thing to get out. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so battery back in, needs to be connected up. Okay. Okay, so we've got the positive connected. I've put this brace back on the battery, which goes underneath the side cover. So now we'll just get the negative connected as well. Right, so I think that's all of the stuff at the top connected back on. All of the bolts I've got left would suggest so. So we need to get the air filter back in, the cover back on. We need to get the crossbar down here fitted, and then the mudguard. That should be it. There, connected. That's on, needs to go on, crossbar. So on this support bar at the bottom, there's obviously this bit that goes up into here, and then there's this extra bit here that needs to get bolted on, and then the final hole just here. There's three bolts, obviously one of them slightly longer to accommodate for this extra bit, so the longer one needs to go in the middle. Get that one in, I think it's tight. No, do that one at the end. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 bolts back in, just remembering that this middle one is the longer bolt, so we'll accommodate to this other bracket. Now I think it's just the mudguard back on, top and bottom, and then we're almost there. And I'll just do the other side and then show you what it looks like from the inside. Okay, so we've got 2 bolts in at the top here, got the last 2 to do here, and then it should just be the side covers. All of this looks fairly tidy. Yeah, we'll get it all together and then make sure it all works. Right, the only bit that I found a bit problematic, a bit tricky, was to get these 2 bolts back in. I just had to loosen these ones at the top, which I now need to tighten to give a bit more free play, and then some of the cabling under this side I think was stopping it, but they're now in, they're now tight, so I've just got to do these 2 at the top, side panels on both sides, and then seats back on and we're done. Okay, so shocks in, mudguards back on, all the stuff on the top sorted. most importantly, all of the bolts that we've used are back in the bike, none left. So just going to put the seats back on, and then we're done. Right, moment of truth. Really feels a bit higher, a bit firmer. Test is the side stand, because the side stand always seemed to struggle to come down when it was up. So that's already higher up the back end. Oh, that feels much nicer. Side stand comes down when I'm sat on it as well, which again was a problem with the old one. Yeah, much nicer. So we'll have to give it a bit of a test, probably give it a trial, and then maybe do another video out on the bike. Probably try and get the front end done before I do that, then give it a proper test. But hopefully that has given you a bit of an idea of what you need to do to change your shock. It actually wasn't as hard as what I thought it was going to be. The hardest bit actually was getting the mudguard on at the bottom during the rebuild. For some reason the bolts just didn't want to go in. But yeah, that was a fairly simple process. I'm somebody that doesn't really have any mechanical knowledge. I've just used the instruction manual, the workshop manual to do it. It's all fairly self-explanatory in there. The pictures aren't the greatest, but I think you can pretty much work it out what you need to do. If you've got any questions or queries, comments on the video, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But failing that, if you want to give it a go, then I wouldn't spend the money going to a garage. It's fairly simple to do yourself if you've got a smallish toolkit and the time to do it. So thanks for watching. We'll give it a test and see how we get on. Take care.